Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Smooth Jazz Hour with your host, Robbie C. How you doing, Robbie C?
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, we're doing good. We're having a great day out here in the wild, wild west of the South.
Well, wake up right now.
But now we're in here.
This is
we're
not
ready
the
to
Jazz
go.
Hour. This is in the
This is
bag.
ready to rumble.
You're bad, we're bad. Let's all get better, but still bad together. All right,
Yeah.
welcome everybody.
My name's Misery, and I love company. Welcome.
My name is Self, and I have a lot of doubt. Hello everybody. We're back. We're back at it. Really, probably what's going to be this episode. Next week's like questionable because we have USDGC. We probably won't have an episode next week, but we are maybe planning for something cool. But we really need your input. So let's just right off the bat. Especially if you're listening on YouTube. If you're not, maybe jump over and add a comment. But USDGC is probably our best chance. I know last couple years I've met a lot of you at USDGC, in the bag listeners, that is. And I have one spot on my finger that's really itchy, and it's like I can't even think about anything else. But sorry. Anyway, I got to meet a lot of you, and it was cool. So we thought, like, is there anything we can do? I know we won't really probably have an episode next week, but we thought it might be cool to do like a speed interview, like 1 minute interview with a bunch of you. Would you all like to hear that from people that we meet at USGC? It'd probably be like, hey, how long you listened in the bag? Where you from? What's your, tell us your favorite disc in the bag, and then what's your favorite piece of advice from in the bag, or whatever. But yeah, would you all be interested in that? Leave a comment below. Let us know. Say yes, do that, or hey, I have an idea for some questions you can ask everybody, or it's really you. This podcast is for you. We do this all for you as well. So just want to create some interesting content. So we can do that.
I thought about this, Brad.
Yeah.
And it came to me after we started recording. Because fun fact, a little behind the curtain peek for you guys. You can always tell how long Brad and I have talked shop before we start recording, based on the energy of which we start the show with.
That's true.
Because it's really this is our first, for both of us, like our first big thing of the morning when we record.
Right.
And so if we just come off the rip, you can tell we're waking up and we're like, all right, let's get hyped. But if we talk shop for 15 or 20 minutes before we record, we're wired.
Yeah.
So
yeah, we're Smooth Jazz Hour comes out.
But here's my thought is people love, especially in this format that we're doing right now, people love the disc limit bags. Give me a 10 disc bag and this is what I do. In fact, I know that we have an anonymous question today coming from someone. I don't know, maybe it's Jeff. It's not Jeff. Him. It's Jeff. Yeah. So what if the interview is we ask people, what if you had to build a 5-disc bag? What 5 discs are you building? What 5 discs are you bringing?
Desert Island discs.
Oh, yeah. You're stranded on a desert island, and you're only going to be able to play 5 discs. And there is a Pro Tour course on the island.
Yeah.
And a pitch and putt. yeah. It's coconut baskets. African swallows, the whole thing. Yeah. So you are, I think you're stranded on an island. You can only have 5 discs in your travel bag. What 5 discs do you have?
Yeah.
And that way, maybe listeners, you can hear and be like, oh, I love that bag. That sounds great. Mm-hmm. And you guys can even vote in the comments after of who has. Oh, that would be fun too. Is we get these people, they come, they do the interview, and then the audience votes on which bag they like the most.
Ooh, winner chicken dinner.
And then we have a little prize. So that way people are incentivized to,
Yeah. And maybe we do a combo. Maybe we do interview questions for a podcast episode. Maybe we do some social clips in the bag Instagram. If you're not following that, make sure you do. And hey, we can do live winners, and we can actually maybe buy them a chicken dinner, which would be very funny and very dad joke centric.
Man, I tell you what though, if I being at USDGC, I'm planning to be there. We got some family stuff that may interrupt that, but planning to be there. Let me tell you, Brad. Can we spend a minute telling why people need to rearrange their plans for next week and get to USDGC, especially if we won't maybe be with them in their ears next week?
Yeah, I think number one is not. I mean, the disc golf's great, so don't hear me. Number one's not the disc golf. Number one's not the disc golf. Hit him with number one, Robbie. What's number one?
It's the food, dude. The vendors are so good.
Vendor Village. Like the food, all of the like. I mean, I don't know. It's just like all of the. I have the weirdest like obscure references, so forgive me. But if you ever watch the movie Kingdom of Heaven, right, with Orlando Bloom, and have you ever seen that movie, Robbie?
Yes, way back in the day. I think we actually watched it in like a class, like a Bible class.
Yeah, well, it's about the Crusades, right? And
yeah, which is why it was tough.
Yeah, everyone's like, "Where's this reference going?" But anyway, there's like this this time when all of the Crusaders, all the different factions of the Crusaders all come together. It's just big scene. It's a big shot of, and I think it was like real people. Obviously, they did some. I almost said graphic design. Anyway, movie magic to make them look like a lot. But there's a lot of actual horseback riders, a bunch of different flags from different factions and everything. They all get together to fight and defend Jerusalem. Anyway, USDGC Vendor Village reminds me of that because it's like all of the manufacturers seem like most of them have presence there. All like the companies, like you'll see, like Disc Golf Pins is going to be there, and like all these other like retailers will be there too. Like Sun Kings will be there, is one that sticks out. That's like a little bit bigger of like a vending setup, and the food, and then like you get these like random vendors too. Like last year there was like these locally made like farm made socks that were there, like trying to promote like foot health and like dryness for disc golf. So you get all these like really cool vendors together. And Robbie, the food, which I know is what you're going to talk about, is they do not hesitate to bring in some amazing food trucks.
Yeah, the best piece of advice I can give you if you go to any event whatsoever, and this is probably not even just a disc golf thing. I think food trucks most often, I feel like people view eating at these events as a necessity and not an opportunity.
Ooh, yeah.
And so when you walk in, just a kind word, a kind conversation as you go, and some of you, I understand that you are what they call introverts, and so conversing with people is difficult for you. And not even if you're an introvert, do you have a hard time? Maybe you don't enjoy talking with people, or it's draining, all of that. I couldn't be more on the opposite side of that. I've never met a stranger, just people that I don't know yet. And so I like remember this barbecue vendor last year, and I walk up and I was like, ooh, I was excited about some pork nachos. Let's go. So I had these pork nachos. They were delicious. And I walked back and said, dude, these were awesome, as I passed to go get like another drink or something the next day, or later that day. And he was like, man, you come see me again tomorrow. I'll make sure I have more. Oh, it was mac and cheese. That's what it was. It was the barbecue mac and cheese. Yeah. And so I come back the next day and he goes, I believe in my return, guys. And then puts more on my plate for coming back. And I was like, bro, you know I'm back here day 3, baby. You know I'm back here day 3.
Yeah.
And I'm standing in line and I hit him with like the what's up? Yeah. And he just starts making it. Like, boom, it's loaded in. By day 4, I remember walking back and Trevor saw my plate and he was like, Robbie, did you order like a double helping? And I was like, nah, bro. Loyalty.
Yeah, right.
That's what you got to do. So it is. I'm all about the food. The food was amazing. And then also there was like a really fun, they have like a putting course. There's just so many things. And then also, I think at USDGC, there are so many great spots that you can spectate a lot of iconic holes. So you can just kind of have your head on a swivel and at the right time see so many different things. It's awesome.
I want to say also, like, even like Worlds had a great vending setup, but the hard part is like, it's like, ooh, you arrive, here's Vendor Village, and then like if you're gonna go watch, you just go adventure out into the wilderness of the course, and then you come back at some point to it. I think what's cool about USDGC is you can kind of start from hole 1, and then once you hit like around the lake right there, you can pop over into Vendor Village for a while, hang out, get something to eat, and then you can almost catch the cards back on the other side of Vendor Village as they're coming through. Or you're like, oh, I want to watch Nicholas here, and then you follow him through hole like 7, and then you go to Vendor Village, and by the time you're like done mingling or eating lunch, you can go back up like, oh, Paul Macbeth is teeing off over here. I can watch him through hole 7, and then you can catch Nicholas on the back. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of cool. The setup is very thought out, and it's very spectator friendly. Part of the thing, like, we collaborate with them. This is like our 3rd year, I think, now. But what they want to do is show people what it's like to be a fan and a spectator there through us. That's why you see a bunch of posts on our Instagram and stuff. But that's really what it's like. I think what's really cool is, like, they are very, like, fan and spectator focused, where I would argue that most tour stops aren't necessarily. Like, they want people to be there. They're trying to make them more friendly. But this is one they've really thought out. Even as much, like, I was talking to Chad, who oversees a lot of the planning and logistics for USDGC, and just they moved, like, where the end of a tent is, like, to make it more, I guess, in proximity to the food trucks and where everyone's entering. So, like, like they're thinking about where everything's placed even every year and changing it to try to make it better, making parking easier this year. So just, yeah, if you're in the area, or it's just not that big of a drive for you, I'd highly, it says Rock Hill, South Carolina. It's basically in Charlotte, just like 40 minutes south of Charlotte. Yeah. So yeah, if you're even remotely, it's worth it for sure. Grab a cheap hotel or Airbnb, hang out for a few days. The tickets are very affordable too. And it's just, if you're a disc golfer and love disc golf things and disc golf people, then it's a very cool place to go. And I mean, if you want to meet pros and have them sign stuff, I mean, very accessible as well. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I'm like walking through Vendor Village, I'll look up and then, oh, there's Henna, oh, there's KJ, there's, like, people were hanging out because it's just an environment. It's a vibe.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, hole, if you've ever watched USDGC footage, hole 7 is the iconic triple Mando. And it literally backs up to Vendor Village.
Yeah.
So you're right there. And then hole 8, they cross this little road. And like Brad said, like you walk with a card from hole 1 to hole 7, and then you're like, oh, I'm thirsty. If you're in New London and you're at hole 7 and you're thirsty, congratulations. You're gonna die. No, you're cooked. There is no, like, I think of even out at Ledgestone, one of their holes, I think it's like hole 14. There's a gas station across the street.
That's funny.
And it's like hilarious because people iconically will run across the road to this gas station, and that gas station stays slammed all day because people are popping over. And Vendor Village is just perfectly set up inside of USDGC. So hole 7, you can pop over, you can watch them disappear for a few holes, and then you can catch them as they come in hole 15. That's like sloped green. You can see it from Vendor Village. It's like a 60-second walk over to it, but you can see it from Vendor Village. And then hole 16, also the basket butts up to Vendor Village. So yeah, like you can just, and then you can walk with them from 16 all the way up to the iconic hole 17. It's really cool how well spaced it is. But yeah, so that's USDGC. We obviously this isn't just a USDGC hype podcast, but there's a reason that it's the guys' favorite events. I have to agree. It's up there for me.
It's fun. I love just meeting everybody. Like, that's been my favorite part. And Jason and I love vending. It's so fun. It's exhausting, but it's fun. And I don't know, it's just a really cool, there's nothing like it. So definitely check it out if you haven't. If you have the opportunity, do it. And by the way, there's going to be an opportunity. We'll announce it like later today, or you probably are it's already happened. Never mind. Forget I said that. If you're a Hyzer Club member, you already know.
You already know, dude. Yeah. Brad, we got quite a few questions today.
Let's get through them.
I don't know that we'll get through all of them because I think I actually picked some long ones today. Especially one of them in particular, I was like, it's going to take some thoughts. Wyatt starting us off with, what's a good way to fix, he said, grounding or misfiring on a forehand? You might initially think that it was a typo, and he said rounding. Nope. Grounding or misfiring on a forehand. It seems 1 out of 10 throws on my forehands go 40 feet as I'm transitioning to throwing forehands during real rounds. So I'm guessing like turfing it, just like slamming it into the ground. Is this a problem you've ever struggled with, Brad?
Not really. No, not really, I guess. My problem's always been, well, I guess, okay, let's just, depends on what he means by grounding. If you mean like turfing it right in front of you, no. As far as like maybe I like chop my forehand too much and it like turns into a roller or something like that. Like definitely have had that happen before, especially when I was first doing forehand. Misfiring happens. I think it happens to everybody.
Yeah.
For a misfire, that seems to be like that could just be a grip issue. Really, 1 out of 10. Maybe just make sure your grip is pretty solid. Make sure if you're a chalk person or whatever, make sure your hands are nice and tacky before you throw. But as far as like grounding, no, I'm gonna guess probably. I don't know. That's an interesting one because it makes me feel like they're like rolling their wrist too much or something. Like that like kind of like roll over or push over you're doing with your forehand on a forehand. It's almost like they're pushing it into the ground in front of them and they're not like following all the way through. Maybe is what it seems like to me. Or maybe they have. Oh, here's a thought. Maybe they have like in their mind. I'm realizing the more and more that I'm paying attention to form and stuff, the more and more I have a subconscious disposition on the disc I'm about to throw and what I need to do with it. Especially after playing this like 9-speed challenge we played the other day, is like there's just a particular, and then maybe it's just me, maybe it's not, but like there's particular discs that I'm like, okay, well I've got to juice this to do this when I don't really need to. It just is like, oh, it's a 9-speed, so I have to juice it. No, well, you don't. It's flippy. You know what I mean? I can smooth it. So I don't know if it's maybe like, and I don't know if you have like a anti-release on your forehand or you have like a Hyzer release on your forehand. Probably going to guess it's Hyzer based on like grounding it, or turfing it. I just wonder if it's like the wrong disc for you. Like you're like feeling like you really have to smash it, and you're just like going so hard into it, and you're like choking off the throw. I don't know. That would just be my immediate like gut reaction to it. What do you think, Robbie?
Yeah. I think disc selection is definitely big for just feeling like you have more disc in your hand than you need, especially if you're just now starting to add it to your round. I would agree with Brad that I think 1 out of 10 it sounds like a lot, but not especially really. If you're not throwing a bunch of forehands, 1 out of 10 sounds really not that bad. Like if you're adding a forehand to your competitive rounds, I would assume that you're throwing a max of 10 forehands around, and that's a max. You got to think 18 holes.
10 of them.
I'm gonna need forehands on greater than half. I think you'd be working on it a little bit more. So if it's one getting turfed every other round, probably part of the consistency issue of why you're turfing it is because you're just not throwing enough.
Yeah.
Like it's just not a familiar shot. For instance, I don't throw a lot of backhand turnover flexes. So I know when I go to throw that shot, like there is a pretty good chance. In my video on Tuesday, I'm talking about distance drivers, and you guys can go watch it if you want. I would appreciate it. But I literally talk about one of the easiest ways people get max distance on backhand is that they throw like backhand flexes. And I said, but I'm terrible at this shot. So I'm going to show you what happens when you mess up this shot. Because if you mess up a Hyzer flip, like you just have a Hyzer.
Yeah.
But if you mess up a backhand turnover flex, it just nose up stalls and goes so short. Like it's so bad. And people are probably going to think that I like purposely messed it up. Nope. I just didn't hit it right. And that thing went like a solid 280. Like it was so bad, but
yeah,
that's what happens. Like, but I don't throw the shot, so I have to be ready for that. And I think that that could be one. The other thing, like logistically, because I really do think Brad nailed it on disc selection, is a lot of people when they throw forehands lean back into the shot when they're throwing their forehand because they're trying to isolate the hands like away from the body. And so they end up like posturing by leaning back a good bit. And that sounds like, if you think about when you go to throw a forehand, if your chest is falling backwards because you're like trying to yoink the hand forward, what it does is if you're off balance, when I'm doing this to catch myself, I'm going to reach for the ground. Like I'm going to try to get low. So I think that what could be happening is you're like reaching back and you're having a little bit of off balanceness. So you're slamming into the ground instead of thinking of coming through and flat with the shot. So that would be quick thoughts. But hopefully that helps. Andy asks, he's an upper 800 players. Brad, this was on, I pulled this for last week's and we didn't get to it. Fascinating. So Andy, get ready. Upper 800s MA3 player. Always struggle with putting during tournaments. I do okay when I practice at home, but it never seems to translate to the course under pressure. Welcome to the world, my man. A lot of people with you. He's a push, maybe a spush putter, and he putts with daggers. After some recent frustration during a practice round, he jokingly flipped his putter upside down and threw a few putts.
Oh, no.
They went all right, but found it difficult to get the putter to the basket beyond 20 feet. He then tried to a spin putt with an upside down dagger, and he couldn't miss. He's brought this back out several times and found success each and every time. Am I crazy to think that this might actually be a good idea to bring an upside down dagger spin putt into tournament play? Yes. Next question. Just like
Andy, all right.
This hurts my soul for you, Andy.
Yeah.
Because if you're at this point, I can only imagine the hole you find yourself in.
Yeah. You've like, all right. The comment I was going to make was really like probably not appropriate. Anyway, so you are buying a cure-all pill. Like someone came up to you like, hey, for $20 a bottle, I can give you these vitamins that are going to make you better at putting. But it's placebo. All that's happening is you're focused way more on what you're doing, your spin, your like angles, like you're focusing so much more on your putt because you're putting a crazy way. So you're actually focusing way more on your putting. It's not the upside down putter. That's way worse. You're actually putting better in the worst possible scenario. Apply that same focus and confidence to your normal putt, and you're not going to be able to miss like putting like a normal human.
Yep. I shot a video this week that is why putter only rounds are great, right? And the drawbacks to them that no one talks about. But the biggest strength that I talked about in putter only rounds is you have a built-in excuse. If it goes poorly, you play with putters. And I think that's what this is that it's this placebo of it's making me better. But the pressure is off because if you miss an upside down turbo, like an upside down dagger spin putt, no one's looking at you going, I mean, Andy, come on, man. Like, you should probably be making more of those. It's the same way when Calvin does his little like basketball free throw putt.
Yeah.
No one is like, when he misses those, no one's like, oh, man, he should make those 100% of the time. It's like, we're just more excited when it goes in.
Yeah, because it's fun. But yeah, again, I'd also like to be clear, Andy, assuming you're from the United States of America. This is the United States of America. You can putt with upside down putters if you want. You're going to look silly. And you can be putting better, but you can do it if it makes you happy and you want to do it. Just like those of you out there calling you out that are putting with drivers and mid ranges for whatever reason. That's like me trying to take a Ford Focus off road on a Jeep trail. You can do it. It's just probably not the best idea. So you can do it if it makes you happy.
There will be regret.
Yeah, if it makes you happy, but like just know if you are trying to get better, like you're going to also hit a ceiling or a plateau with that. It's going to start going wrong to you because you're going to get falsely confident with it or get distracted. And then you're going to like, wow, what do I have now? I want to cut this putter in half and putt with it. Like, where's the line? So just, I think, know that you're putting more focus and time in there. And something I've done lately for putting that I think has really helped, and definitely I'm seeing the improvement in my putting again and the confidence I've lost for like 2 years is I'm like, okay, I'm going to pick 25 feet in the warehouse and I'm going to putt a couple times a day in there. And even at home, one of my baskets, I'll putt a couple times here and there. And I'm like, I need to believe, not like I'm going to, I need to believe that I'm going to make every 25 footer, not 30 footer, not 35. Like I don't need to worry about any of that. But if I can make every 25 footer, at least have the confidence that I know I can make most of them, then I think I'm doing okay. And it's definitely, I don't have that, like, I step up to the basket, it's like 27 feet, and I'm like, oh, I don't know, this is pretty long. I'm like, it's about 25 feet. I know exactly what I need to do. And then I just, like, try to drain it. And if I don't, I don't. But I'm just, like, walking up with a confidence knowing that, like, that's my distance. I'm going to make everything here and in. I don't even need to think about it. And I just go up, boom, fire the putt, go on to the next thing. So
absolutely
try that. Maybe you're just focused on all the... I think as humans, not just in disc golf, in life, we focus on, like, all of the levers to pull to try to fix things versus, like, one thing at a time.
Yeah.
The Kaizen method, 1% better, 1% better, one thing.
I will also add that as a push putter, the sweet, sweet nectar of spin putting is alluring to all.
Dangerous, don't do it.
Because when you try it out, you're like, oh my goodness, it is so much easier to get the disc to the basket than anything that I've been doing for this amount of time. Stick with it for a little while. And I promise that you will see the other side of the coin in a competitive round if you do it enough. And this is not me saying that I think push putting is superior to spin putting, because I think that they both have very, very good highs, and I think they both have tragic lows. And the tragic lows being that a spin putt is like a push putt is way more affected by the wind than a spin putt is, and it is legitimately harder to get power from distance.
Yeah.
However, on a spin putt, you have the opposite factors, but when you miss, you will have a 25-foot comebacker on the other side when you are putting correctly with a spin putt. Like, you're going to just sail it past the basket. And you have to be okay knowing that I could, in theory, three putt 3 25-footers in a row. As opposed to, like, I ran this push putt, this weird push putt, and it was okay. Now I have a long one, and I, like, missed the 15-foot comebacker. Then I tap in.
Right.
Check.
Yeah. You still have to be good at 25-footers. We're not solving a problem here either.
Yeah. So, Andy, I think that is another side of the coin, too, is that because you went from a push putt, like a splish push, to a full-on spin, whether the disc is upside down or not, I think that is what's doing it the most. But the upside down aspect of it is giving you this free confidence in it for the shot. So
it's also, I think, in theory, I think it's making it more understable too, right? So maybe it's a putter thing. Maybe we need more neutral putters.
Yeah, I mean, daggers are glidey. There's a whole I put up with daggers for a long time. I love the dagger. I think the dagger's awesome. But I did a bag swap with friends this weekend, and one of them had a dagger, and I missed all but one of my dagger putts because I was just so afraid of the glide. Like, I was actively aiming for the cage because I was like, I just know these things pop so much more than my wizards. So, daggers are great. Daggers are awesome. Obviously, Ricky, he's kind of good with them. Won a couple world titles with them, but they're glidey. So... all right, next question comes from Zach. Is there a benefit to throwing nose-up approaches? And if so, what is the best way to do that? Would love for you to break down the thought of when to switch nose angle. I throw a very neutral nose angle and struggle with pushing Hyzer flips and wonder if this could help me out.
Interesting. I don't think we've ever had this question before, or a variation of this question. So, is there a benefit to throwing nose-up approaches?
I've got a ton of thoughts on this.
Well, let's hit you. I have like one or two, but I don't think it's anything groundbreaking. So I'd rather hear from you on it.
This is my favorite type of way to throw approach shots. Like this is the type of shot that Hunter Thomas needs to learn. If he learned this shot, I think he would struggle to lose monthly matches. Because he is enough of a killer that he would like learn how to do this, and then he would be fearless running shot for shot after shot after shot. I'll go ahead and tell you, Imposter, episode 2, you're going to see this shot. Like, you're going to see this shot come out. Just teasing, at the end of the month, it's coming out. I love this shot. I think this shot is amazing. I think it's incredible. And what's really cool about this is that it gives you a chance to be aggressive running the basket, but also it dies. Like it just slows down. So anytime you see me throwing my polecat on an approach shot, any lid type disc on an approach shot, this is what this was designed to do. You throw it nose up, floaty, right at the basket. And it is like it just sails in a direct line and then it just parachutes down to the basket. So you go with a high glide, low speed disc, throw it nose up. This is also why I give the Berg such a hard time, is because I've learned to throw this shot. So I have done this in so many settings where people will like walk up to me and they'll be like, Robbie, I can't believe you hate on the Berg. I can't believe you hate on the Berg. And I'll be like, all right, cool. I'll demonstrate this point exactly. Hand me your Berg. I've never thrown your Berg. I know what the Berg does. Awesome. And I will throw there and I will be like, someone else take a disc and I want you to throw it anywhere from 100 to 150 feet. Just chuck it out there.
Yeah.
So they do that. And then I go, watch. I'm going to approach that disc with this Berg. I throw the Berg and it gets close because that's what the Berg does that shot well. And then I say, I want someone else to hand me. Don't hand me a putter that you know is weird, that does like a mirage or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't hand me a spin that is like this 3-turn, all that. But hand me just any of you, hand me your throwing putter, your putting putter, or whatever it may be. And they'll hand me a random putter. And I'm like, all right, I don't even need to look at what it is. And I will just throw it on this nose up approach and put it right next to the Berg. And I'm like, this is why I don't need a Berg. Because if you learn to throw this nose up approach shot, Zach, you can do what a Berg does every day of the week. And then also you can do whatever the disc needs to do that isn't the Berg.
Yeah.
Because you can just make it create Berg. So it gives you safe runs at the basket. It gives you a safe chance to throw in shots. And it makes that 100-foot range so you don't have to have this wild, crazy, powerful jump putt. You play a short course like Peaksview. You're using the shot the whole day. Like it's just so simple. Best way to do that is just think about you're driving the thumb when you're throwing the shot. I call it the flick of the wrist up shot. My coach, Mike Strauss, worked with me on it. I have multiple videos on my channel about it, but it's the flick of the wrist up shot because if you're watching the YouTube video right now, that's what you're doing with your hand. Is you are literally your thumb drives into the disc and you flick the wrist forward, flick it open, and that gives you that shot. The key is to committing to it. So you actually throw the hand through and flick the wrist at the same time. You will yoink quite a few of them when you start, but you'll dial it in pretty quick.
Yeah. And I feel like Connor's really good at that shot too. That's one of his like playing catch.
Little wizard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say one important note here for you, Zach, and Robbie kind of said it, but I think disc selection is really important when you mess with this nose angle, nose up approach, because again, if you're picking something overstable, like you're trying to throw with a zone, you throw a zone nose up, it's going to fade real hard. You need a specific type of disc, which Robbie kind of highlighted. Lids are good, but even like an understable, like neutral, more understable neutral, especially if you're just like a floaty upshot. Like my really beat in envy that's actually understable, I like to throw it with that, just because it like, again, the nose angle almost compensates. It kind of like keeps it really straight. And I didn't have that shot for a long time. It's kind of uncomfortable at first. And I've been playing with it a lot more. I've had a lot more throw-ins with that shot than anything else, even trying to forehand or jump putt. Because it's like you get your elbow aimed at it and it's just like it just wants to go in the basket. Like if you can get the shot down. But it is a little uncomfortable. And going back to the form review episode, Robbie, it's actually what, like that step out, you know what I mean? We're talking about like the plant foot stepping out of line, or the other railroad track, if you will. Like kinda, if you take that kind of like stance with that floaty nose up, then like it's like, I don't know. I think it's like so accurate, and it's very scary because you're like, oh, well, I can see the basket if I jump putt. But I will say it's way more accurate, way less bad things happen when you do that floaty nose up if you have the right disc.
Yeah. It is a shot that people who play with me regularly are afraid of, because they know that probably once every other round, I'm going to throw in from 100 feet. It's just going to happen. Yeah. It's right. And if I don't throw in, it's just not a range that I usually end up losing strokes on.
Yeah,
because
like you probably end up 15 feet, like on any side of the basket, really, because you're not throwing hard, but you do have to commit. That's the scary part. For me, that's the scary part. You are committing to like, okay, I am running this. If you are throwing that shot, you are running it most of the time.
Yeah, and that's where you learn the balance. Is you learn the balance on the more experienced you are. When you first get used to it, all of your shots that miss are going to end up being short. Like they're just going to be on line, but they're going to be short.
Yeah.
And then you're going to start figuring out when you start throwing it in more how to actually give it a chance and to finish 15 feet past the basket and have that opportunity.
Right.
And that's when you're terrifying. Okay. Josh Wilson, what overstable throwing putters would you guys suggest to an MA4 player looking for something with reliable fade but not too beefy? Thrown the Luna and the Wizard, and they felt great, but open to other options as well. He has smaller hands. He putts with Gateway Shamans. So, what are two putter options you suggest, Brad, that are not the Envy, because we know that's at the top of the list, with reliable fade? The Envy is, without a doubt, something you're probably looking for. If you haven't tried an Envy yet, I'm going to go speak for both of us. You need to put an Envy on there. But what are two other options you would think of, Brad?
I think Rico X is a really good one.
Okay.
It's more shallow, which you're talking about smaller hands. I power grip my putters. And actually, it's funny because Trevor highlighted this on his like top 25 discs, but I power grip my putters, so I like them like less deep, so I don't get like my fingers caught in there. So I like the Rico X for sure. I also think P2X is probably a good putter as well. It is a little deeper though.
Is the P2X what the Sky Bros were?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I'm trying to go too overstable. That one's kind of getting there as far as being too overstable. Overstable. The overstable part's hard because you don't want it to be too overstable. Mm-hmm. I even say Eclipse Proxy specifically.
Okay.
Because it has enough stability that it's going to still fade because of the Eclipse plastic, but it's not like overstable. And I think that's a good look as well. Chally OS is always in the running too.
Yeah, the one mold I'm going to recommend has like 8 different names because it's manufactured by Mint. It's manufactured by Mint, or it's manufactured by MVP, but it's the Bullet / Praxis / what else is its name? Eldritch, I think, is the remix version.
Yep.
But it's phenomenal. If you go with the Eldritch, you can get them off of Remix, which is Amazon sells them. You can get a boatload of them for super cheap. I know that we just got a bunch of TSA over at Foundation Discs, so I would imagine that we got Praxis.
Praxi.
But it's phenomenal. It definitely is up there for a great one. And then if I were to go with a second choice, I think the Luna is just really good. But going outside of the Luna and the Wizard, I'm trying to think manufacturers that Brad didn't say. I think a PA2 is really good.
They're deep though, in my experience.
Yeah. A lot of Prodigy putters are pretty deep. I would say an A5 because A5 doesn't feel that deep, but the A5 is it's overstable. Like it's very overstable. So
Breaker.
Yeah. Breaker's good. Breaker's DGA. It's like a Zone SS. And yeah, flies pretty phenomenal. I would go with like I'm trying to think a Fudge. Fudge is probably too deep. What do you think?
Deep. Yeah, that was my problem with the butters when I was playing with the butters. They're very deep. What about, here's one for you. What about is it the Chief? That's a little straighter than that's a little bit more flat and a little straighter.
Yeah. And they sell Chief OSs. Chief OS is probably the winner. Because Chief OS is, if you already are in the Gateway Juice, Chief OS is amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. I really wanted the Chief OS to work. Has a pretty unique hand feel. Okay, Brad, this question is just for you. And it is whatever happened to the era. I feel like there was a time where you were talking about the era the same way you talk about your love for the FD and the Envy. Did I miss something? And the era was... did the era get jackaloped or armadilloed, or was there another thought process that moved it out? And do I have a similar experience? I've never thrown an era, so I have no thoughts here. But Brad, what happened to the era?
Well, I think a lot of things happened. It was a series of things, not one thing. I think that was in the, I guess, pun intended, the era of me like just being done with distance drivers and just kind of like focusing in. And once it came out of the bag and I realized I was throwing 7 speeds further than the era, then it never really came back. Also, like, again, nothing against Finish Line, but they just kind of have, I don't know, not died off is the word, but they're just like not super active. And I don't know. I feel like there's so many better discs now that I kind of know what I'm throwing. And I think the era, and it was that specific one, not all the eras I threw flew like these specific ones. They were like the first run ones. And I just didn't, again, coming from like I was only Discraft, I don't also want to get locked into like special runs of discs, right? So yeah. I don't want to get locked into that. I still have them. They're actually behind me on my shelf. I think I gave both of my purple ones away though. They were a factory second first run, and they felt so unique compared to all the other ones I felt, and flew so unique to the others. So I think it's just that it's really it kind of got phased out as I was like rebuilding my bag, and then once we came back, I didn't want to get stuck in a trying to find scarce disc ecosystem. I'm just not about the cryptid disc system, if you will, anymore. Same way a lot of my other discs have come in and out. Just I'm not just into that anymore. Jackalope got Jackalope just because of the FD. I still contemplate putting the Jackalope back in my bag. Armadillo was a meme. I was just trying to be a meme, and I never really loved it. I was trying to throw the big armadillo, whatever, like the mega armadillo.
The Super Dillo?
Yeah, Super Dillo. I just wanted to be a meme, guys. Sometimes I just like the meme discs, okay? I like it. I like being that guy sometimes. But, again, it really didn't have... It was just taking up space in my bag. I wasn't confident throwing it. I didn't want to throw it. And it just, like... I'm not good enough for the meme to be worth giving up any strokes on my score at the moment. So that's kind of where those discs went.
That's fair. That's fair. Yeah. The Dillo, props to the Dillo lovers out there. I just think there are a bunch of, I think there's better options out there, but that's fine.
And also fine. With the era, I'll say the grace happened. So
yeah,
that the grace has really changed a lot of things for me. So I think that's a very like top 20 disc for me is the grace.
Have you thrown the Procyon in comparison to your grace?
Yes. Procyon's a little more stable for me, and I can't throw it quite as far. Like they have a very similar, I guess, end point when I throw them. Basically, what happens is like the grace just pushes straight further for me, and I can throw the grace like 40, 50 feet further than the Procyon. They're very, but like again, finishing point's very similar as far as like how left they get from me. It's just like one holds straight longer than the other.
Yeah,
I have them both. Makes sense. I have them both for like there's a little bit of a wind situation, a little bit of a headwind I need to fight. So I have it there. It has a purpose.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Dylan asks, when you're having a day where you're just not throwing as far as usual, should you take the same approach as you do in golf, ball golf, and club up, or should you disc down in order to match your arm speed a little bit better? So to me, I think this is double situational. I think that when you're having a day that you're
how far are you throwing first? I think that matters.
Yeah. So to me, when I'm not throwing as far, if I'm having an off day, my cap for the top end of my bag lowers.
Yeah.
So like I will say, oh, I'm not throwing far today, so I'm probably not going to throw anything faster than my trail today.
Yeah.
And I just let that be the top end because I know that I'm not going to get the other stuff up to speed. Now, where that pushes back a little bit, where ball golf, you like club up in terms of like what that, for those who are not used to ball golf, is like the lower the club number, the farther it's supposed to go. So if I am normally going to hit a 7-iron here and I'm not swinging far today, I'm going to go down to I'm going to go up to a 6 or a 5 and hit that. So in disc golf, what that would mean is normally I reach this hole with a buzz, but I'm not feeling like I'm throwing far today. So he's asking, do you drop down to a Luna or do you disc up and go to a Sagara? I think that you disc up. I think you disc up to carry the distance, but once again, with the caveat of after this speed, this is just the farthest I'm going, and I'm just taking the distance that I get out of it.
Yeah, I think in my opinion, what I would do if I'm having a day where I'm not throwing as far, I think I get way more, I guess I'm gonna use the word confused, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I get way more disc selection confusion making like the equation match, right? Like, oh, I'm not throwing as far, so should I go to FD or should I, like,
yeah.
What I typically do is like, oh, I'm just kind of having an off day. I'm not really throwing it super far. My shoulder's feeling like kind of tight. I'll still throw the same discs I normally would, but I'm like, my game plan changes. Like, okay, well, I can't park the basket, so I'm just going to plan for like, okay, maybe I'll try to run it, and then if I land right, that's where I want to be. Maybe today the putting situation is better on the left. I'm just going to use the same disc, plan on being to the left, and then try to make a putt versus. So I'm probably changing my game plan versus changing like my calculation on what disc I'm going to use.
That's actually so wise. I like that a lot for advice, because I do think that people try to get into that game. And you just also, when you play this game of I'm not throwing far, and then you sort of turn brain off and let your body go, sometimes that's all your body needs to just suddenly start throwing far again. So if you're like, hey, normally, I can't reach this. Like normally I throw an FD here. I don't know if I want to step up and throw a trail. Okay.
Because I'm like, oh,
I guess I will.
I got to go a little more Hyzer because I can't turn here. Like, it becomes a math problem, and I don't like. I do math all day. I don't want to play math like games on every hole of the course either.
Yeah, and then if you do happen to just say, okay, let me try to do this, so you think I'll throw my trail a little less. Now, what happens if you throw it way less? And you're like, I'm shorter than I would have been if I would have just thrown the FD in the first place. Or you overcorrect and like you just smooth it out there, and then now you smash the disc and you're just as far on the backside as you would have been short on the short side. And then now I have confidence issues that I'm working with. So I think that's actually really a great way to approach it, is just if I'm not throwing far, maybe don't adjust the discs I'm selecting too much, and just, hey, let's. Now, the only caveat to that I'll say is wind. When you're throwing into wind, like if you're having even if you're having an off day, like there are times where I'll look at a hole and I'll say, okay, like I think about hole 13 at Timbrook, which is the big wide open. It's the bomber hole. You're throwing to the water, and it's like, okay, it's slightly downhill. So on my best day, on my absolute best day, I can get there with a mid. On my average day, I'm getting there with a fairway driver. So if I step up to that hole and it's wind, I need to definitely throw the fairway driver. If not, like step all the way up to my fastest fairway drivers, because the wind is just going to slow it down.
Yeah. Right. And then the wind's just that you're already calculating with the wind in a normal round. So don't add the other stuff on top of it, really. I think it's just my suggestion. And I think it's the same way if you're having like a good forehand day. Like normally you're a backhand player, you lean on your backhand more than your forehand, and like your forehand just feels on that day. I think you can switch your game plan to like play more forehands, but you're not like switching like, oh, I'm throwing way further with my forehand today, so I'm going to disc up and try to get further. Like, I don't think you should do that either, because that's not normal. I think you should just like play your game with your forehand versus trying to like push it out. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally. All right. Got time for one more, Brad. And this is a wacky one. So we teased Jeff earlier. Jeff, don't worry, we'll get to you on our next episode.
Sorry, I just read the first part of this question. Go ahead.
Yeah. So Noah said, I'm in love with the Inn of a Dragon and the Prodigy D3, but I want an MVP version. What do you suggest?
Oh my. Let me look at the dragon.
So the Inn of a Dragon, I'll give context, Brad can give you the flight numbers.
84 negative 22.
84 negative 22. The thing about the Inn of a Dragon, for those of you who are not familiar, is the Inn of a Dragon floats. That's like its whole shtick, is that it is made of this weird plastic that floats. Now, the tricky part, and you can ask Swanky Disc Golf about this, is that it doesn't matter if the disc floats or not
Right.
if they throw it into the middle of a swamp. Because all that does is just let me know where it is exactly that I cannot retrieve it.
Right.
So what a funny little gimmick, but it's a super, like, it's a neutral to, yeah, it's just a neutral-ish fairway or driver.
Right.
And then, yeah, Prodigy D3. Prodigy D3.
It's a destroyer.
Oh, is that, did you look at flight numbers on it?
12.5 negative 1.3.
Okay. So, what would we suggest as alternatives? MVP version of the Inn of a Dragon and the Prodigy D3. So, those are two different discs.
Okay. We're only focusing on flight, right? We're not trying to get this floaty nonsense, correct?
No.
Okay. That's silly. Anyway, so my recommendation for MVP-esque dragon is going to be Jackalope.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I like going the min direction.
Yeah, because, I mean, what is the... Jackalope is it negative 2 too, also?
It might be like negative 2-1.
Yeah.
I think it has a
Regardless.
little more turn.
But if you get some Apex, if you get Apex though, then you're right in the money. I think Apex Jackalope's definitely there for me for sure.
Yeah, I think that's a great choice. I think I really like the idea of going down that line of, yeah, just because I think of a lot of their stuff is, I mean, you could go like rhythm. If you want a turning, if you want it to be a little more turn, then go with the fission rhythm. Neutron rhythm is going to be great. Yeah, I think the rhythm is going to have very similar turn. But yeah, I don't know that you need much.
No, I was looking, rhythm. I was trying to find, I always get signal, servo, all those mixed up, to be honest with you. Relay, I think, is like a 7.6 negative 2.1. Very similar. And I threw it on the video we did the other day, and I really liked it for like a forehand. Because I threw a gentle forehand hyzer, and it flipped up to flat, turned just a tiny bit, and then still faded. So that was a fun one. Trance is probably another one you could try. Negative 2.1. They have a lot kind of in that like 7-8 speed category. I feel like MVP has a lot of bandwidth to try things out. Yeah,
depending on your preferred release angle here, I think that the Volt could also be good, because most of the Volts I've thrown, the first Volt that I ever threw was the Bendy James on like celebrating his signing and win and all of that. And those were an overstable run of Volts. So I let that sort of color my view of the disc. But a lot of the Neutron Volts that I've thrown have been really, really not as overstable as the Bendy James. So I would say a lot of them have flown much more like a -1, 1.5. So depending on your arm speed and how much what you're getting the dragon to do, because some of the dragons I've thrown have been actually more overstable than people gave them credit for. So that's been my experience with the dragon, is that it's been a little more overstable. But once again, I don't know what your dragon's doing, because mine is in the middle of a lake. So
Yeah, and I think servo is good too. It's a -1 too. So on the other end, it's a 6.5 speed. They have some in that range, but anything from 6 to 8 and MVP land kind of is going to feel like that Jackalope-esque hand feel, but give you a lot of, and you might like multiple. I think there's a world where you can bag a signal and a servo. They both do pretty different things, or a
Yeah.
relay and a signal.
Yeah. And then the D3, I'm going to throw out 3 molds, and I'm going to be very specific in the plastic types that I'm recommending for them as well. So I think a retooled Neutron time lapse.
Great.
The retooled ones. I threw one in my most recent video. Brad, you sent it to me. I didn't even realize I was throwing the retooled one. But that makes sense because we just got the retooled one. So apparently the retooled ones are a little less overstable than the older ones, which ended up working really well for me. My first throw with it, like my face, I turn around, look at the camera, just absolutely dumbfounded because it went so far. And it just continued to go far. So that one really good. I think the Mayhem, which is it's like a 12.5 minus 2.2, something like that. You can get it in any plastic. I don't know that they make Fission Mayhems, but if they do, that would be the one that I would avoid because I would imagine that it'll be a little flippier.
Right.
But Mayhem, really great. Definitely encourage that one. Paul Krantz has been bringing a ton of attention to the Mayhem. And then the last one is a Fission Octane. Specifically Fission. The Octane itself is going to be a little overstable compared to the D3, but a Fission Octane is going to have a good amount of turn to it. The biggest thing about the gyro drivers is that it's important for all gyro driver throwers to know if you do not get them up to speed, they will all be overstable. So a poorly thrown gyro driver will never be as good as a poorly thrown non-gyro driver. If you're looking for like distance push, if you want an overstable flight, they're perfect.
Yeah. And I guess throwing out a random one for you, it's not a 12 speed, but the Expanse from Thought Space. Hold on, is this one? Sorry, the Expanse is Discraft made. Sorry, that's my bad.
Yeah.
We now have companies where like Mint and Thought Space where some of their discs are made by MVP, some are made by ironically one Prodigy, one Discraft. So but yeah, there's some. Don't forget to look into those lands like Thought Space, Mint to find some MVP stuff as well. MVP made discs.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Brad, that's going to wrap it up for today's questions. Don't worry, Jeff, we'll get to you in our next episode. But Brad, we're going to USDGC. We've got new discs that are arriving. Some discs are getting dropped at USDGC, but some discs they're dropping with this episode. What's new in the warehouse, sir?
All right, I got to look behind me a little bit here, but Procyon, we were just talking about it. Restock is live. We're one of the lucky few that got some of those back in. So if you were like, again, I think it's really good. I think it's very throwable for a lot of people. Maybe I think in my mind it's like my destroyer almost. Like I can't throw a destroyer, but this is kind of like what I'd want a destroyer to do, which are like kind of those destroyers that everyone throws where I want it to be able to throw it far, but I want to have stability so I can flex a little bit if I need to, or it fights the wind. So I think it's a really great disc. We also have the Isaac Robinson Grand Orbit Sinus, or Sinus, but I think it's Sinus.
Yeah.
They're beautiful. They're just beautiful discs. Those are dropping. Also have the Moonshine Warship, very underrated mid in my opinion. I think it's a great mid for pretty much anybody. Great mid. We have like a ton of Discraft discs. We have like Robbie right now. The subscription box shelves are all cleared off, but they're all filled with Discraft stuff waiting to be restocked. Plus some on the other side, plus some on tables. It's crazy.
That's insane.
If we don't have a mold or plastic you want to Discraft right now, we'll have it soon. Like Xander and Graham are like both working right now. They're turning them up onto the site. So I tried to really go with a little more overstock than we're used to make sure we had enough for you all, especially coming to the end of the year, tournaments, Black Friday, all that. So be on the lookout for that. We also have, let's see, what am I forgetting? So foundation-wise, we're doing a restock on a bunch of cool stuff. All of our Heck Yeah stuff is getting restocked. So our Heck Yeah MVP. So the Hex, Detour, Range, Balance, and guess what, everybody? If you're listening to this, they might be gone already, but the Trail, Heck Yeah Trails are back in restock. First time ever you can just buy them on the site.
Wow.
So,
wow.
yeah, that's a big one. Also, our Foundation Modern stamp, which is on Innova, we have those up on Halo Destroyers and Race. We've had those before, but I actually ordered some Halo Sidewinders. Talking about a meme disc for me. Also, Halo Gorgon and Halo Firebird with that Foundation Modern stamp on it. So, very cool there as well. I'm forgetting Thought Space. The Requiem drops this week, so that's a very fun disc as well. We restocked the Praxis as well, so cool there. And as always, these are debuting at USDGC, but we got some new Ace bags and custom Ace bags.
So stoked, guys.
Yeah. I say we have Robbie ones. I wish I'd have grabbed it for the podcast, but we're starting selling those at USDGC. Those will probably be up next week as well online for you to buy as well with some new Robbie ones. I see some Discmania. I hope this Discmania is a custom Discmania we're releasing at USDGC. Hopefully.
Hey, fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
Yeah. Anyway, as always, make sure you check out a recent restocked on the site. We love you all. Thanks for everything. And Robbie, if it's good,
keep it in the bag.
We'll see you all next
talk
week.
to you soon.
Well, no, not next week. Not probably 2 weeks. But
yeah, we'll talk to you. We'll talk to you when we talk to you.
Yeah,
everyone.
we'll see you when you see us.